Everybody, I hope that you're doing amazing. Adrian Nelson here. I want to thank all of you for the beautiful support that you've been giving my channel. I really appreciate it so much. It's so heartwarming because the intention for my channel has always been to support you in ways that enhances your experience of life. So what we're going to do in this reading, we're just going to have a pick a card, so either 1, 2, or 3. And then obviously, you know, if you look at this afterwards, there's going to be some timestamps that's going to be put in there for you. And I'm going to use the Osho Zen Tarot for that. I love Osho Zen. So I haven't been using it in a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have some upcoming readings as well for all the individual zodiac signs for almost like a life path reading. But I just wanted to do this pick a card for you. If you maybe need a message or anything like that, then it's available here for you. All right. If you remember to like the video, I'd really appreciate that because that helps my channel to grow. For all of you, you know, I get such beautiful support. I have to take a moment to say this. I get such beautiful support in likes, in comments, in donations, just kindness. It's such a beautiful thing, and I'm so very appreciative for that. Okay, so and also, you know, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would like to invite you to subscribe, to hit that all button, that notification button, and to all of you that have already subscribed, I really appreciate that. Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and you know, I'm very soon I'm going to create a course on Osho Zen Tarot reading, because I'm telling you, whilst Rider-Waite, traditional Rider-Waite Tarot is incredible, it's amazing. I've been doing it for like 20 years, and I've got a course on that. There's a link for it, a step-by-step course in the description. I also have a link for a free Oracle card reading course. There's a link for that down below as well. Osho Zen takes things in a very different direction. It's a whole new spiritual, beautiful direction. Please excuse me. Sorry about that. Osho Zen, it's very much about your life path and how to get out of the things that are holding you back and that are preventing you from having that beautiful life experience that you are fully deserving of, you know, that you were born to live. So I'm literally gonna go 1, 2, 3, give it another bit of a shuffle. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so option 1, 2, or 3. And what I also say sometimes to people is you can either choose 1, 2, or 3, or you can decide which one is your current space, which one is the recent past, and which one is the energy coming to you. And when you think of that, current space is where you are now, which is where your power is lying. Recent past is sort of like the things that you are tying up, the loose ends that you are tying up, the things that are coming to an end. And immediate future, the things that are coming towards you, is sort of like the things that are busy forming for you in energy now. And if you obviously like what it is, it's fantastic. But if you don't like what they are, then you can also still change them. Okay, so option number 1. So for option number 1, we have got maturity. We have got schizophrenia, which I just want to put out there. It's got absolutely nothing to do with mental health, and beyond illusion. Okay, so with maturity, this is a space that speaks about you being ready to move to that next experience of life. When we get this card, it often refers to us actually feeling a little bit stuck right now. And this is usually one of those spaces where you are doing everything right, you are doing everything that you're supposed to do, and you're doing it the way that you're supposed to do it, but it feels like nothing is working out. This card is a cycle that has come to an end. It is almost like when you look at it, you know, it's like the one side, there's a lot of light over there in the card itself, and then there's a little bit of almost like semi-darkness that's happening over there. And so what this is speaking about is that your sort of enlightenment, your being ready. And it doesn't just have to be spirituality, you know, it could be that maybe in your job, in your relationship, in your life, in your habits, in your fashion, in your diet, in your health regime, those sort of things, that in your overall life as a whole, you have reached a stage where you have, let's say, walked the cycle as long as you should have been walking it, as long as was necessary for you to walk it, to learn the lesson, to get the lesson. But now it's time to move on. And when we don't move on, which can sometimes happen in life because, when things are feeling safe and you know what to expect and those sort of things, sometimes we don't want to move on because we're like, well, this feels good. I don't want to move from here. But then when we overstay our welcome, that is when a space that could have been very, very pleasant before starts to become unpleasant for you. And this could be what this is speaking about for you. Okay. And then what makes perfect sense with that is schizophrenia, which, as I said, and I want to stress this again, it's got absolutely nothing to do with mental health. This is the schizophrenia where you're feeling a little bit sort of crazy in your experience of life. This is where, when you look at this character, this is a character that is sort of like hanging up there, holding on with both sides. And, this is almost a space in life where we begin to sort of contemplate, okay, what is the best way in which I can fail? All right. Do I let go of my hands first and fall on my head, or do I let go of my feet first and maybe break my legs or something like that? This is a space where sometimes in life we went a little bit too far, I can almost say. Like, maybe you were a little bit too ambitious. It could also be that you ignored the warning signs when they came about. As Oprah Winfrey likes to remind us, and I think that she said that she got it from Maya Angelou, that life first gives you just a little bit of a whisper, like a, and we ignore that. And then it blows a little bit harder and we start making excuses for that, make excuses to stay, to continue with what you are doing, even though you might need to know that it's time to move on. And then we start getting ourselves into compromising situations where we started to move past the point of pros and cons list, which is the better devil, which is the better one to lose. And so sometimes as humans we can get ourselves into that space. And this is a space that will normally feel very overwhelming, where you feel that you've got no choices, anything like that. And the best thing that you are encouraged to do here is to let go and to free fall. And the reason why you're encouraged to let go and to free fall is because when we have these very overwhelming experiences, it is really a reminder to us that we are not in the flow of life. And remember, we are part of the flow of life. We are part of the essence of life, the expression of life. But in human life, we sometimes get so entangled in the business of being human that we sort of lose our way a little bit over there, okay? And so this is encouraging you, if you are feeling in that space where you feel that you are ready, but it almost feels like a lot of things are against you, to let go and to have faith. And what it's reminding you is, as you let go, that inner consciousness within you that knows who you are, that knows that you are divine, that inner consciousness will catch you. So you are not encouraged to let go so that you can fall yourself, to a blood splatter on the pavement. That is not what it's speaking about. Okay? And obviously it doesn't speak about anything, it doesn't speak about self-harm in any way whatsoever. It is letting you know that if you are feeling in a very tight spot at the moment, and you don't see how to get yourself out there, this might be a good time for you to surrender to your higher self, so that the universe can bring through the solution, the solution that is already existing, but that you can't currently perceive, because you might have overstayed your welcome in a specific cycle where it's time for you to move out from, and now you're beginning to feel very trapped inside of that cycle. What you also have is beyond illusion. This is quite incredible, all right? This is speaking about if you're looking at this, you might be in a space where you're feeling trapped. And you might be in a space where you don't see any solutions. But you might also be in a space where you might still be very much in consciousness, be dwelling in the past. And because you're dwelling in the past, you might not be able to see the beauty that is being provided to you at this particular point in time. And so you are encouraged to begin to open your eyes, to begin to open your inner eyes, to begin to breathe in the consciousness of what life not could be for you, but what it already is. Because this card to me suggests that the reason why you might be feeling stuck and overwhelmed in where you are at the moment right now is because, remember, you are ready for that next cycle. It's time to go to that next one. And it's time to embrace that. Now think of it almost like in an analogy. Let's say that you're a growing person, not gender specific. You got a pair of shoes that you absolutely love, like you love them. When people see you, they see you in that pair of shoes. But then as some time passes, as comfortable as their shoes may have been, they start being less comfortable. Doesn't mean that you're wrong or that the shoes are wrong, but you are beginning to outgrow what was once a perfect sort of solution for you, a perfect fit for you. All right? And what is the most logical thing to do at that particular point in time? To be open to the idea of getting new shoes, or to decide to cut a piece of your foot off because you want it to fit into the shoes. All right? So what you are encouraged to do is to have the willingness to open yourself to the idea that what you want is already available, but all you need to do is have the willingness to allow it to come into your experience of life. And this means that you need to have the willingness to not know what the answer is, to not know how the solution is going to come about, but to surrender to that higher part of who you are. And as you surrender to that higher part of who you are, instead of having to go look for the solution, you basically activate what I call your magical magnet inside of you, that the solution comes to you. All right? So you are encouraged to open yourself to that idea. All right? So that's option number 1 for you. Let's look at option number 2. So option number 2 speaks about transformation. Transformation in traditional tarot is the death card. And then you've got the rebel, which in traditional tarot, since we started now talking about that, is the emperor. And then we also have sorrow over there, which is traditionally 9 of swords. So for you, you might be going through a period of great transformation. Now, this card reminds you of the oldness of who you are. This card also reminds you that the universe itself is ever expanding, and reminds you that you form part of the universe. It reminds you that your experience of Earth is not necessarily the beginning of anything or the end of anything. It is part of everything. All right, so it's not an isolated event. Being on Earth, think of it almost as being on vacation. Okay, so let's say you're like me, you live in Cape Town in South Africa, you've got your home, you've got your job, you've got your life, you've got all of those things, and then you go to Hawaii for a vacation, and you're there for say 10 days. Just because you are in Hawaii and you really enjoy it and it's really, really beautiful, doesn't mean that you're giving up your life in South Africa, in Cape Town or wherever. Your life still continues. You're just taking a bit of a time out, you're having a different experience of it. But now, this is where this comes in. So sometimes now you're in Hawaii and you realize that, oh well, I might like to stay here. It looks really, really great. Now there's nothing wrong with staying there. If you tick all the whatever legal boxes and you've got the money and you meet the requirements and you're going to be happy and you've got your job and your career and your family and whatever, no problem, you can stay there. But when you go there on a visitor's visa, for example, now I don't know all the terms correctly, but let's say you go on a visitor's visa and the visa allows you to be there for 2 weeks. By the time it gets to 3 weeks, it becomes a bit of a problem. If you're there for 6 months, now you're there illegally. But you want to stay there because it's amazing. You're not taking the necessary steps. And this is where I feel that some of you are at the moment. Okay? Feeling a bit stuck in a good thing. So you are being reminded that there are multiple solutions to the problems that you have. First of all, there is a solution to every problem that you have, and that solution is being created for you right now by the allness that you are forming part of. This card reminds you that you are not separate from anything, and nothing is separate from you. Yes, you've got your guides and you've got your guardians and you've got source of all and you've got all of those things, but it reminds you that all of the universe is rooting for your greatest good, and that solutions can come about just like that. Okay? Then we also have the rebel. This card encourages you to be your true self, to be your authentic self, to let go of perceptions and ideas of who you should be, be it in religion, be it in spirituality, be it in whatever. The reminder here is that life is short. We only have so much life. A lot of the time we spend sleeping, and then we have to, fulfill this obligation and that responsibility, and we get very little time for ourselves. This card reminds you that it is in your best interest to live your life, to embrace your life, to cherish your life, okay? To be who you are, to break the chains that are holding you back, to, yes, be there for others and to be considerate of others, but to remember that this journey of life, this journey of where you experience individuality and where you can have the experience of separation, that this journey of life is about you. It's about your adventure. It's about your karma. It's about your path. It's about expressing yourself in who you choose to be. I mean, when you look at this character seems quite bold and sort of like fierce and like manly and those sort of things, but in the same token, this character's got multiple colored hair, so this is almost like a gladiator with a with a bit of a more softer approach. Really, be who you are. This card reminds you that you don't have to place yourself in a box, because yes, others can have opinions about our lives and they can have ideas about our lives, but you are the one that can accept others' ideas about you as your ideas about yourself. And you are also the one that may have at certain times either accepted other people's idea of who you are or life's idea of who you are, but you can also change that. You don't have to stay with that. This is a card that calls you to really embrace your unique essence of life. Who will you be if you haven't been told who you are supposed to be? Okay? If you imagine that, say, maybe you are a being from out of space, what we call an alien, different life force, and you come to planet Earth for the very first time. You've never been here before. You come here for the first time. What will interest you? What will entice you? What will excite you? What will confuse you? What did you want to know? What did you want to experience? What did you want to do? All right? This card calls you to embrace the potential of what your life could become. Okay? The dream of what your life could become. And there's a lot of programming that we have as human beings in our lives. Don't dream too big. If you want something, you have to work really, really hard. But just imagine all these things were not indoctrinated into your mind. What did you go for? Because the people in this life that reach real success and real happiness and real inner fulfillment and have their needs, met, are the people that follow the journey that their heart is setting forth for them. And whether that means that you become a red carpet celebrity that, that the paparazzi go crazy about, whether that means that you open a bakery or a nursery or whatever, I think the idea that we sometimes have is that in order to be happy in life, we need to make it really big in life, because success, what we see as success, money, big house, flashy car, that sort of thing. Sometimes there's an idea that is the only idea of success that we have. But what is your idea of success? Because that idea of yours for success, for happiness and inner joy, it's calling you right now. And if you can't answer the question of what real happiness means to you, then you don't really know what abundance means for you yet, which means the goodies in life can't come to you because you're not clear about what it is that's calling you. You might be feeling off your path. And so for some of you, there might be a stage in your life where things are feeling very sort of challenging at the moment, but you are also being rerouted back onto your path that will then take you forward in a nice prosperous way. And the way to normally get off our path is usually by fear and by pain and those sort of things, though there has to be a little bit of fear and pain sometimes to reroute us back onto our path. Make sense? Okay. And then lastly, you've also got the sorrow card. Now normally in traditional tarot, I don't have a deck with me here right now, but normally in traditional tarot, there is that character that sits up in bed at night, the Nine of Swords, having difficulty sleeping and things like that. This card is suggesting that whatever it is that you may be very concerned about and very worried about, that the solution itself is right there. It's wanting to shine through. But you might be in a space where you are running, where you are stressing, where you are overwhelmed, where you're not sleeping well, maybe your health is not doing that good, maybe you're in a bit of an angry space, maybe in a bit of a vengeful space. the solution of light can't come through in that space. So you are being encouraged, if you're going through challenges right now, to take some time out for yourself, to reconnect with yourself, with the essence of who you are, to really ask those questions. Who am I really? Who do I choose to be within this experience of life, within this infinite experience of life? And once you can decide that, the solution can come to you, because the solution's already there. So if you're in a space where you are challenged and you feel like you can't find the solutions that you are seeking, and maybe life is against you, you might want to open yourself to the idea that you are the one that is withholding yourself from the solution, from the blessing, from the miracle that is actually there available for you. Okay? So maybe time for some inner, soul work, some introspection, meditation, taking a walk, stop being afraid that things are going to fall apart. Okay, option number 3. We have got the dream, which is the 6 of Cups. We've got projections, which is the 7 of Cups. And we've got patience, okay, which is the 7 of Pentacles. So, for some of you, this could be a space where you're not maybe using your beautiful imagination that we were gifted with as human beings, not maybe using it to your fullest advantage in what will serve you in the best possible way. Okay? Now, what I'm referring to over here is that what we sometimes have as human beings, now it's good to dream, it's good to have a vision. You want to dream, you want to have a vision, definitely. I'm a law of attraction coach, I teach people manifestation, definitely. You wanna give the universe a direction for what it is that you want in your life. Most definitely yes. But what this is referring to, what we have sometimes in our life, is it stems from fear. And what we sometimes have is we set ourselves up for failure via our dreams. And what I'm speaking about is, let's say you've got difficulty with commitment, or maybe you believe that you're not good enough. So because you maybe have difficulty with commitment, or you're doing that you're not good enough, or anything in those lines, even if you make a plan to succeed, chances are your plan is not going to succeed, because even in the planning of your solution, you are setting yourself up for failure. So, in the most obvious sort of example, maybe in here, let's say, I don't know, 1,000 years ago, you were, say maybe a lady in waiting to Duchess, whoever, and you fall madly in love with a husband or a son. Now, obviously, in movies and in books and those type of things, these things can work out, but in real life, chances are not really. All right? So, now I don't want you to be discouraged by the message that I'm giving you. You are asked to evaluate your dreams. But when we say that you're asked to evaluate your dreams, the suggestion here is to look at your dreams in a sense of, what I'm dreaming, is this really what I want in my life? Okay? A lot of people are, for example, dreaming that they would like to win the lottery or inherit a lot of money. And when they do, they're actually not that happy, because maybe they've got some issues with money, or maybe they don't believe that they are worthy of good things in life. Guess what? The more money you have, you've got a problem with money, you're going to have more problems. All right. When I think it was Tupac that was speaking about more money, more problems, that's sort of what he was speaking about. Okay. So this card is encouraging you to maybe go back to sort of like the drawing board of your mind, so to speak, and to sort of like re-evaluate your dreams again. Just to ask yourself, is this really what I want? Is this what I want to experience in my life? Is this really, really, really what my heart desires? Is this relationship, this connection, this job really what I desire? I speak to a lot of people in my life, and a commonality that often comes up would be that, I went to university or college or whatever, I studied this amount of time, it cost so much money, it was such a challenge. I was lucky to get a job wherever it is I got this job, and it doesn't make sense for me to leave the job now. I may hate it, but it doesn't make sense for me to leave it because I've invested 20 years into it. Like, okay, so you are, let's say, arguably speaking, you are 20 years old now, and in the way that the world works, you're probably going to work till you're about 60. So, so you've put in 20 years into your life, into this. And whatever you do, there can be benefit from that. But do you really want to carry on doing this for the next 20 years? Are you really prepared to be that unhappy? You know? And so this is this card is not asking you to throw everything out the door. It's not asking you to throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is not what it's asking you. What it is encouraging you is to go back to the drawing board of your mind and to ask the question, am I still on the path that is serving me best? And what changes can I bring about in my life? You may hate the job that you have, and nobody's saying that you must leave the job. But you say, okay, so maybe you don't have to leave your job, but how can this be improved for you? Okay? Maybe add something to your desk that is going to bring some life. Add a fish tank or a plant or a fountain or whatever, Maybe take a mind break every 2 hours, make a point of doing that, Maybe play some pleasant music in the background. Maybe go for a run before work, or maybe make sure that you're home at night to have dinner with your family. Maybe spend more attention to your pet, maybe get a pet, This energy, I feel, is asking you not to give up anything, but to be open to the idea that the dream that you have can be improved upon for your benefit. Because I feel that some of you, it almost feels like you might almost feel like you start like you want to give up, because it almost feels like nothing is ever going to work out for you. But that doesn't necessarily have to be true. Okay? Projections. Next card for you. I feel that you might be in a space where either you are not clearly representing who you are, or maybe others are doing it to you. I feel that for most of you, it can be a space where it goes both ways. Where maybe you're in an environment where everybody's behind a mask, where everybody's trying to only show their best side, And maybe this is what is bringing this challenge about for you, because maybe you are feeling you're not doing good enough compared to others, compared to how they are doing things. But here's just a reminder, whilst you might be trying to do your best, so are others, but sometimes, because of the way that we've been brought up in the world, sometimes being your best almost means, or impressing others almost sometimes means that you have to almost like suppress who you are. Don't be too loud. Let's use our inside voices, that sort of thing. And so, whilst you might be seeing that a lot in others, sorry for shaking that, you are also encouraged at this particular point in time to have the willingness to maybe look in the mirror and to do that self sort of like, inner investigation as to what I'm seeing on the outside and what is irritating me about others. Am I not maybe doing the same sort of thing? Are you really being true to yourself? All right? Are you aware of the fact that in 100 years you are, unless some amazing technology comes about, you're probably going to be dead. Nobody is probably even going to remember your name or who you are, No songs are going to be sung in your name, and no sonnets are going to be composed and ballads performed in your honor. Most likely not. Okay? All you have is here and now. And the question is, if all you have is here and now, wouldn't you want it to be a moment that you can experience with the truth of who you are, with the true honesty of who you could possibly be? And then, after it sounded like I'm being absolutely horrible to you, here you've got patience. This is letting you know that something wonderful is about to come about for you. There's something wonderful that is busy coming together here for you. It is like, it's almost like, say for example, you planted something. Let's say you've got a beautiful little garden, okay? And you planted some things. So maybe you planted some, like little things, fruit, and or let's say maybe some tomatoes and some peppers and some chilies, those sort of smaller things that grow quite easier. This is a space where you can see the plant coming up. It's beautifully sprouting. Maybe it's got little blossomy flowers already. But the fruit itself, maybe they started to form, but they're not yet ripe. Okay? This is reminding you that your payoff is most certainly coming. If you maybe started to lose some patience and you felt that nothing in life is ever going to work out for you, you're never going to reach the desires of your heart, this is letting you know that whilst there might be an aspect of impatience here, and even maybe an essence or expressions of almost like lethargy, almost like feeling that nothing is ever going to work out for you. This is reminding you that all of that is just a phase that you are experiencing, okay? And that there is beautiful unfolding in life that is busy happening for you right now, all right? And that everything around you is also busy getting ready for you to benefit in the greatest good, okay? Like as when a mother carries a child, there's different things that start to happen in the body. The body becomes ready to be able to feed this child, all that sort of things. So there's a lot of preparation that's being done for you to be able to experience the most beautiful essence of life. So even though you might be going through a bit of a challenging period at the moment, there is quite a lot of beautiful, wonderful things for you to look forward to. And so it most definitely is. Okay. Alrighty, so that's what I got for you. I hope that helps. If it resonates, remember to like the video, remember to subscribe. Comments are always welcome. If you want to have a personal reading, you can contact me via my email address down below in the description. And from my heart, namaste, love and light.